En América estamos transmitiendo desde Hermosa 1470 AM y para todo el mundo a través de cafeconlecheradio.com. Les habla Lilia Galindo y me acompaña el día de hoy nuestro amigo Thomas Elias. Good morning, Tom. Elias.
Buenos días. How are you, Lilia?
I am doing fine. What about you?
I'm doing very well.
What?
Hard to be better.
Oh, I'm glad to
Anyway.
hear. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, tell us a little bit about whatever you think is important in these times. At this time.
Right now, the most important thing is the war in Ukraine and its effects on the world. But you see that covered in a lot of places, so you don't need me for that. But we could talk about California and the upcoming gasoline tax rebate, which apparently is going to be even better than what Governor Newsom originally proposed in his budget plan, which he submitted in January. You'll remember then he suggested a gas tax holiday in which a 50-cent increase in the gas tax would be placed in abeyance for at least 6 months to give people a little bit of relief on the gas prices. Because don't forget, California has the highest gas taxes in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Over $1 a gallon of what we pay is gas taxes here. And that's one of the reasons that our prices are higher than in other states. That's probably the main reason. That and the fact we have greedy oil companies that are profiteering right now. But we could get some help with this gas tax thing, but he's also going to refund about $400 per car to anybody that owns a car, up to 2 cars per person. And this will come in the form of prepaid credit cards. So it'll be like unemployment benefits are paid now, where you get a prepaid Visa card instead of cash. And that's just fine. People can use that just like it is cash. They can buy gasoline with it. You can buy gasoline with it. You can buy groceries with it. You can buy almost anything with it, with one of those prepaid cards. And so that will be a big help to people, I think, especially people who have to drive long distances to get to and from work, don't make too much money even when they get to work, and so they can't drive the newer, more fuel-efficient cars. They can't afford electric cars, which usually cost a bit more than a gasoline car, and so they're really hurting. A lot of people are really hurting right now and trying to figure out ways not to drive when they can find a way not to drive.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a help, and I think it's a good idea.
Bueno, nos está hablando, dice, le preguntaba cuál iba a ser el tema para hoy, dice, obviamente el principal tema en estos momentos es la guerra de Ucrania, pero si ya que muchas fuentes cubren eso, hablemos mejor del impuesto de la gasolina aquí en California y lo que está haciendo el gobernador para poder beneficiar a la comunidad. Dice, como ustedes saben, el impuesto de la gasolina de California es uno de los más altos. Entonces se estaba proponiendo de un fondo, pero ahora dice no solo el precio de la gasolina en California es tan alto, no solo porque tenemos un alto impuesto en la gasolina, pero también se debe a la codicia de todos los que venden las gasolinas o todos los involucrados en el negocio. Pero ahora se ha acordado que se va a dar una tarjeta prepagada a todas las personas que tengan un vehículo por hasta $400 y se pueden aplicar hasta por 2 vehículos, o sea, $800. Este tipo de tarjeta lo puedes usar para pagar por la gasolina o para pagar por cualquier tipo de consumo que tengas, y esto va a ser bien. But this is a one-time thing, or how it's going to work?
This is a one-time thing. It's not going to happen every year. And it's actually kind of risky for Newsom to do this, especially the part where he's relieving the gas tax, or part of the gas tax, on a temporary basis, because that means that there will come a day when we'll have to bring the gas tax back. And this happened one other time in California. It happened in 2003. or actually it happened in 2002, when Governor Gray Davis cut off the gas tax for a while to help people out in a situation very much like what we're having today, where the gas prices were going up enormously, and the oil companies were profiteering, and there was a lot of greed out there, and so to help people out, he stopped the gas tax for a while, and then he brought it back, and of course, when he brought it back, it was treated like it was a new tax. It wasn't in fact a tax, but in the recall election in 2003, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger's main campaign point, is that Davis was bringing back the gas tax. Now, Davis deserved to be recalled on other grounds completely because his administration was extremely crooked. But this was a phony reason. And Newsom takes a chance. When he cuts off the gas tax and then he's going to have to bring it back eventually, he takes a chance that he will be attacked for that. That's a risky thing to do politically, and I think it takes a certain amount of courage on his part to do that, because he knows as well as anybody what happened to Gray Davis.
Then it's going to be a tax cut of 50 cents plus the car for $400.
Correct. And this will all be paid for because the state has a big budget surplus right now. It has more money than really it knows what to do with. So it's giving some of it back to the people.
Okay,
There's nothing wrong with that because we paid the money in to start with.
Okay. Bueno, entonces fíjense, esta ayuda que se va a recibir del gobierno estatal se propone una reducción de 50 centavos en el galón de gasolina, más aparte una tarjeta de $400 hasta 800 por 2 carros, y esto es una medida que tomó el gobernador Newsom, y sé que es muy riesgosa porque en el pasado, cuando se ha reducido el impuesto y luego lo quieres regresar otra vez a como estaba antes, pues es lo que le costó a la elección a Gray Davis, que ya no lo reeligieron, le hicieron un recall en 2003 porque quiso implementar nuevamente lo que había reducido del impuesto de la gasolina, y eso es lo que le afectó. Así es que, ay, Dios mío, espérame, decline. Can you go outside real fast and open the door for the lady? Okay, so let's continue. We have like 4 minutes.
Okay. So at the same time as this is happening now, we have the federal government beginning to raise interest rates to try to fight inflation. Money has been so loose for the last couple of years. Actually, for the last 10 years, money has been loose. It's been almost that long since the interest rates that the banks are charged were much above 0.25%. And so the Federal Reserve is trying to put the clamps on inflation, because when you have money that easy, then everybody starts charging more for goods, and pretty soon you have a serious inflation. And we do have a serious inflation right now. And one of the ways to control it is to cut back on the money supply, and that's what happens when you have a little bit higher interest rate. One of the things that can happen with this is that prices go down. For instance, if interest rates are up and you want to buy a house, now your mortgage is going to cost more, so you can't afford to pay as much money for the house that you're about to buy. It's also when they raise the interest rates, it also hurts people that have adjustable rate mortgages, because their interest goes up in that case. And that's what's coming up now. This will have effects across the economy, and the Federal Reserve has indicated that it isn't just going to stop with the one very small interest raise that it did this week or last week, but it's going to continue to do 3 or 4 more of these in the rest of this year, and maybe another 2 or 3 next year. And then we'll have interest rates back where they used to be 10 years ago. And who knows? it's like a pendulum that swings back and forth because we control the inflation and then we have problems in the economy. So we try to get rid of the problems in the economy by making money easier, and when money is easier, then we get inflation. And it's a balance. They have to keep going back and forth, and they'll do that forever.
Bueno, estamos hablando de las tasas de interés. Dice que se acaban de incrementar las tasas de interés. Dice, y esto es para controlar el crecimiento de la inflación. Dice, como ustedes han visto en los últimos 10 años, especialmente en los 2 últimos años, ha habido muchísimo dinero en la economía, flotando en la economía, en los gobiernos, en todos lados. Entonces, dice, lo que la Reserva Federal está haciendo, va a ajustar las tasas de interés hacia arriba. Y si lo que pasa es que es una manera de controlar la inflación, pero es como un ciclo, porque también luego se controla la inflación, pero se para el crecimiento de la economía, entonces otra vez se vuelven a bajar las tasas para reactivar la economía y otra vez ocurre el fenómeno de la inflación, porque todo el mundo, hay mucho dinero circulante, todo el mundo empieza a comprar casas, y esto lo vemos en el reflejo del precio de las casas. What is going to happen with the price of the houses in the near future? What do you think?
What happens if the interest rates go up, then people and the price of the houses has to either stop going up or even drop a little bit, because there's only so much anybody can afford to pay in a monthly payment. For instance, they're building condominiums in Santa Monica near me right now, where a 2-bedroom condominium can be bought with a monthly payment of about $6,000 a month.
Wow!
Now, if you raise the interest rate, that's by 0.25%. That $6,000 quickly becomes $6,500, and so. Not every, people who could afford $6,000 might not be able to afford $6,500, and so the price of the condominium has to drop a little bit so that the payment can stay the same, that people can actually pay it, so we may see prices of housing begin to stabilize a little bit, and maybe it will become a little more affordable because unions keep pressing for more higher wages and so on, and maybe people will have a little more money and they'll be able to afford buying something if the prices stabilize.
Estamos hablando del precio de las casas. Le preguntaba yo que qué es lo que va a pasar con el precio de las casas. Dice, pues es posible que se estabilice un poco, pues dice, porque ahorita estamos hablando de aquí en Santa Mónica, un pequeño condominio de 12 camas cobra hasta $6,000 de renta. Dice, y si hay más, las tasas de interés suben, pues es posible que el mercado de las casas se tenga que estabilizar y que entonces, dice, porque las uniones todavía continúan pidiendo por mejores salarios. Es una cuestión económica un poco compleja, pero seguiremos estudiándolo. Tom, thank you so much for your participation. Have a wonderful day.
We'll probably talk in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Okay, hasta la vista. Bye bye. Nos vamos, amiguito. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros.